Hello, you're welcome to my channel. My name is Adejare and I'm your anchor of Property Matters. Property Matter is a real estate YouTube talk show where we expose you to everything you need to know about real estate investment and property development here in the beautiful city of Lagos, Nigeria. After watching this particular educative guide, you can also check some of our playlists here. I can assure you that you're going to find value. Do well to subscribe to this channel, like our video, drop your comments and share with your loved ones, because a Property Matter, our aim is to ensure that you don't lose a dime to any form of real estate investment that you're making in Lagos, Nigeria. We've talked extensively on how you can identify a fraudulent real estate developer. We've also talked extensively on how you can identify a fraudulent real estate transaction. So do well to subscribe and I'll see you after the short commercial. Don't go nowhere. You're welcome back. Once again, I want to say a very big thank you to everybody that have been following us. So on today's episode, I'm going to be talking extensively on why some real estate developmental project failed woefully in Lagos. And this topic basically is born out of concerns and of course the great injustice that have been melted out on real estate investors, more importantly those who are in the diaspora. A lot of people have expressed their concerns, and in one of my subsequent conversations that I've had with some of our real estate investors, many of them are very, very disappointed, and this has propelled many to decided not to invest in Lagos, in anticipation that every other person do the same. Now, when we talk about the failure of real estate developmental projects, a whole lot of people have not paid adequate attention to it, and this is why the situation is always on the continuous rise. And if these things are not checkmates, the situation may even be aggravated or even become worse, because exploitation structure to continue when there is no proper check. Now, why do real estate project fail? Now, I was in a conversation with a real estate investor, and she told me that the property she paid for in 2021 has not been allocated to her. I also know someone that bought a property somewhere in Awoyaya since the same 2021, and that project has not been delivered. Now the question is, do the real estate investor default on payment? Was there any form of delay on the part of the real estate investor? But the capital response to that question is a no. Nobody has defaulted. It's just due to the fact that the system is not properly regulated, and people who don't understand this will keep falling prey. Now, the first reason why some of these projects have failed basically is the situation of inflation. Now, inflation has brought more harm than good, and a lot of people who did not foresee or anticipate the biting effect of inflation undermine the importance, and today a lot of people are hooked and they are unable to deliver what they've been paid for. Now, realistically, inflation altered a lot of projects that I'm very, very much aware of. Whenever we're making important informations like this, it is very important that we, strike a balance. Now, there were some projects that started very early before the inflation started. There were some projects that have been on before this present situation got out of hand. Now, one of the reasons why most of these projects failed was not just only because of the fact that there was inflation. It's just due to the fact that these guys bit more than they can chew. They invested and, of course, used the profits they've made to start in projects without completing their nota. Now, does inflation help affect? Yes, it has. The way you notice that inflation has affected is that the prices of building materials, the prices of construction, and the prices at which these properties are being sold to you is a clear indicator that there's inflation. How can I explain a situation whereby I have to pay 120 million naira to get a 2-bedroom apartment in Lekki? These obviously are the grossing impact of inflation. Secondly, another reason why some of these projects failed basically is due to the fact that many of these projects were poorly financed. Now, at this present real estate sector, and in this present economy of ours, it is very, very laughable and unrealistic, okay, for a real estate developer to be open on the monthly repayment of clients who have subscribed into an off-plan project. Now, realistically, you would understand that when real estate investor or real estate developers want investors to key into that project, they introduce what we call a minimal initial deposit. Now, the present reality is that what they charge presently now for some of the initial deposit to start the project cannot complete the foundation. So the reason why many projects have stalled or have been stagnant for some years is due to the fact that most of these guys don't have access to funds. Now, I was doing a comparison of some of the successful off-plan projects that have been done on the mainland. I've looked at some of the successful off-plan projects that have been done on some places on the island, and I looked at some projects that have stalled. Now, what exactly is the factors, or what are the factors that are responsible for the success of this project? Number one, these developers have access to funds. In one of my videos, I was explaining the importance of what we call a real estate trust fund. Now, any developer that is going to off-land projects and does not have access to this fund, you don't need a soothsayer to tell you that that developer will just eat your money and there will be nothing to show for it, because you can't build in this present economy with the monthly repayment plan. In fact, that's why sometimes someone that wants to build will not give a lengthy payment plan, because they know that as the project proceeds, the cost of building materials will skyrocket. So it is not all real estate developers that have access to loans. It's not all real estate developers that have access to funds. It's not all real estate developers that have access to commercial banks who can support their project. So poor financing is a major reason why some projects have failed. The third reason why some major development project has also failed in Lagos basically is an area of lack of experienced personnel. Now, it is quite unfortunate that in this our real estate economy, most of the builders are still using inexperienced personnel. Now, the reality is that I've been to some sites and I found out that those who are handling those the building projects don't have the required expertise to do so. There have been cases of sinking foundation, sinking building, poor road maintenance, poor infrastructural planning. There have been instances whereby some buildings have been done and there are water coming out from the walls. We've seen instances whereby some roofs have been poorly done. And the question basically is that, are these developers not aware that they are supposed to use professional? Now, if you are dealing with an inexperienced developer, someone who have struggled to give a good record of their activities, you will understand basically that projects will continue to fail as long as the developer is ready to do the right thing. So when a real estate developer chooses to do an experiment on a project for the first time without working with expertise, this obviously is also another important reason why some of these projects have failed. Now, the next reason why some of these projects have failed is in the area of proper planning. Most of these developers did not count their bridges before, or they did not count their cost before embarking on it. Now, I've talked about the area of material delivery, infrastructural delivery, working with the timeline, working with the time frame, frequent supervisions, and the like. Now, some real estate development companies have not put these parameters in place, and that's why you do understand that in some places some projects are poorly done. Realistically, some of these guys are also they've also struggled to even do a proper supervision on some of the work. So these are some of the reasons why most of those projects, more importantly the building projects, have failed woefully. And that's just one thing you want to look at, and that's obviously a reason you don't want to have ignore. Now, another thing, basically, while some project has failed massively, is in the area of greed of the developer. Now, there are instances whereby we've seen a lot of real estate development company that have sold building projects, they have sold landed properties, they've not done this project till half, and in the space of 1 or 2, 3 years, they have launched as several projects as possible. Now, the thing basically is that when we are making recommendations, or when we are saying buy from this company, there are a lot of parameters we put in place. Of course, we have 7 years experience in this industry, so we know who to deal with and who to avoid. Now, we've been able to assess, the level of what performance of some company. We've been able to study their consistency record. We've been able to evaluate their mode of operation. We've been able to see how fast, how quick, and how professional they have been able to do what? To deliver what they have been paid for. But in some cases, we've seen instances whereby some greed of some real estate developers are the major reasons why some of these projects are not completed. It is unethical, it is unrealistic for a real estate developer to do a project and that project has not been completed to 80% and they are launching another one. These are some of the unfortunate circumstances that have made real estate projects to fail woefully. Finally, is in the area of what? Omonile, wahala, and land dispute. Now, I cannot discuss this, without giving, adequate explanation on how land dispute have greatly, affected negatively, the projection and of course the progress that is being made. Now, when we talk about the process of acquisition, I've explained in some of my subsequent videos that some of these real estate developers, more importantly the ones that are new in the industry, they find it extremely difficult to carry out the required due diligence before acquiring a property, not even talk of to start building. Now, when I talk about the area of due diligence, what exactly am I talking about? Now, I've been to several sites whereby a building construction is ongoing and they've been sudden attacks from landowners or monile. There have been instances whereby some of these guys have even taken themselves to court, and there was a scenario of some colleagues of us in industry who went to inspect an ongoing project, and they met some military personnel who gave a wrong representation of who they are. This military personnel said, these are part of the land grabbers and the likes. And before these guys could express the fact that we're realtors, we came to check, they've been made to do frog jumps and the likes. Now, when we talk about why project has failed, apart from the fact that most of these guys find it extremely difficult to do the total or the necessary due diligence, there've been frequent attacks from Omonile, and that's why sometimes if you have gone to some sites, you will notice that the heavy presence of police officers and other relevant security agencies. So a lot of people are expressing constant attacks from Omonile, and a lot of people have been affected, and this has clearly stated or shown while some projects have failed woefully. These are some of those things that our real estate investor needs to understand, more importantly, if they are buying real estate. Now, what can we do to ensure that you don't fall into this? Now, we have put in some important parameters. We have some people that help us do diligence, and there have been instances whereby I have familiarized myself with some of these landowners, the leaders, the ballets and the likes. So I honestly don't have difficulty in operation. But if you want to buy anything that has to do with real estate, ensure your realtor can critically do a thorough due diligence so that you will not be throwing your money into project that may be abandoned as development progresses. Now, the reason why I'm saying this, I've seen abandon of plant projects in Bejuleki, I've seen several at Ekpe, I've seen several at Abramadesoya and like. So the issue of abandoned projects is mostly happening because of some of these things that I've outlined. So how can you solve this? Work with a professional. How can you ensure that you don't fall into this for into this, work with a professional and someone that can, adequately assess the risk, assess the opportunity, assess the dangers, and of course give you a holistic overview of your return, and of course a realistic overview of what you stand to lose if you don't invest. I hope you've been able to find value. I'll see you in my next video. Bye for now. God bless you.